Greta, please let me know when we can start.
I think we can.
In that case, hello and welcome to ABSL Business Mixer Week. My name is Marta Sudnikiewicz. I'm a coordinator of operations at IMA Institute of Management Accountants. In a world that faces growing challenges, sustainable finance is growing in importance. That's why we are very pleased to conduct this webinar with our valued partner, ABSL, whom is a leading organization in Romania. Please note that you can ask the questions throughout the whole webinar via the Q&A section. I would like to now introduce our first presenter and moderator of the panel discussion, Greta Buvedajte. Greta is a business development specialist at IMA Amsterdam office, responsible for creating and maintaining long-term relationships with customers, and is also responsible for growth of the CMA candidates in a region. Greta, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marta, for such a lovely introduction. So first, I think it's great if I start sharing my screen. Do you see the slides?
Yes.
Yes? All right. So good afternoon and welcome in today's webinar. Thank you again, Marta, for a lovely introduction, and thank you all attendees for joining. So today's webinar, I would like to start with a presentation about finance function partnering for the integration of sustainability in business. So let's start. So first of all, I would like to introduce the company that I'm working for. I'm working for Institute of Management Accountants, and we're one of the largest and most respected associations focused exclusively on advancing the management accounting profession. We're a big global organization with 140,000 members worldwide, 300 chapters, and 10 head offices. We're proud to support our members and the profession through research and certified management accounting program, continuing education, and networking. My name is Greta Buvedajte. I'm working at IMA's Amsterdam office, and today I will be presenting the previously mentioned topic. Due to the time limit, I will not be able to discuss all the minor details of the material. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. You see my email address in the slide. Same thing goes after the panel discussion. If there's not enough time for Q&A, or if you have any questions, please feel free to drop me a message. So firstly, I would like to introduce the contents that I will be presenting today. So first, I will discuss the background. Afterwards, I will move to applying a finance partnering framework to integrate sustainable business. I will discuss the challenges and the three main components towards an integrating enterprise. And afterwards, I will lead to conclusion. So first of all, a short introduction to background. So in the recent years, there has been a significant research done by academics, Big Fours, accounting firms, and corporations that sustainable business practices lead to better performance. It is often difficult to make a business case if the sustainable business initiatives are not linked to financial results. And while there are challenges to measurement, there has been an increased attention brought to environmental, social, governance issues. As you can see in the slide, the Governance and Accountability Institute reported that between 2011 and 2018, the the percentage of S&P 500 companies preparing sustainability reports increased from 20% to 86%. However, what we see now is that the finance specialists in the last decade became burdened by reporting and compliance. And as a result, sustainable business initiatives typically sit outside the CFO unit. And it's very important to note that members of finance functions have critical and unique skills that can make sustainable business team work more accurate and complete. So finance partnering framework that is described in IMA and ACCA joint report in 2014 can really help to facilitate effective cross-functional collaboration between finance and sustainable business teams. So when it comes to the framework and the ICCA and IMA report, we can see that the framework is divided in 3 main components. So A is create the mandate, B fix the information, and C deploy the talent. And this approach really helps corporate finance functions meet the objective of partnering with other business functions throughout the enterprise to achieve shared objectives. The finance partnering framework provides specific guidelines to facilitate cross-functional collaboration between finance function and other business units. So, of course, there are challenges that companies face when trying to integrate sustainable business teams with finance teams. So what are the main challenges? So we see that mainstream finance and accounting professionals have been either remotely involved or completely uninvolved in the development of their organization's sustainable business activities. And the challenges that they come across are, first of all, leadership and strategic alliances. So finance function is overextended with regulatory and compliance responsibilities. There's also a problem with ineffective tools. Sustainable business teams lack formal processes and infrastructure, such as resources, policies, data collection, analysis software, etc., that is available to the finance function. We also see that there is a difficulty with technical language because finance team members use finance talk, which is technical language to describe regulations, mandatory financial reporting guidelines, etc. But same thing goes also to sustainability business teams, which uses words such as disclosure, capital, etc. And we also see an issue with talent, education, and capabilities. So finance function feels that they are poorly prepared when partnering with sustainable business teams. And now we move to the 3 core components and 9 pragmatic actions. And by applying them, it can really help you to move towards integrated framework. So first component is create a mandate for partnering on sustainable business activities. So this is really spreading the word about your accomplishments and benefits. So first subcomponent is driving the right culture. So CFO has a strong position to be a catalyst for change. The finance team needs to contribute to the corporate values if they are created in the company. CFO team can serve as a role model on the initiatives and support sustainable business teams. The second subcomponent is secure buy-in. So CFO needs to really understand the reason for creating this cooperation between the 2 departments, and everybody in his team needs to align. They also launching the awareness about sustainability for meetings, listening sessions to see where it fits the organization. And creating opportunities and possibilities to reach out to finance team if sustainable business team has challenges. And the third subcomponent is highlighting your proof points. So the CFO team can demonstrate how its insight to sustainable business can create value. Finance team really understand the numbers and what is going on, and they are in a unique position to show proof how finance can help sustainable business teams. That brings me to the second component. Fix the information, enhancing quality of data insight. So this part, you really need to get it right. And the finance people are trained for that. So first of all, we want to measure what matters. So often what happens is that sustainable business teams are collecting large amounts of data, but they cannot connect that data into business terms. So of course, CSR teams do their job great, but when reporting, there could be like 100 measures. So it's actually better to choose even 5 or 6 key measures instead of measuring 100. And finance team can really identify the right metrics very effectively. You know, in one of our case studies, the company had to reevaluate the most relevant environmental social governance metrics. And initially, CFO was a doubter. He was not really keen on participating in the sustainable reporting. But when you start looking at the water efficiency, so that was actually an agriculture company, and he looked at the water efficiency and he was very surprised that what they were measuring, it was entirely wrong. And once they started prioritizing the indicators that actually mattered, they greatly lowered company's environmental impact. It's also important to simplify the technology landscape. So the finance function can partner to evaluate the bigger picture and help integrate sustainable business data into companies' enterprise resource planning system. And the third subcomponent is sorting the data. So, you know, getting the information doesn't necessarily mean that that information is right. In partnering with sustainable business function, the finance function can instruct and direct how relevant data can be accessed by, for example, by setting up coding practices, policies, taxonomies, and systems. And now we have the third component, deploying the talent, financial professionals with the mindset to meet challenges. So in some ways, this component gets overlooked the most, but it is just as critical as the others. So first of all, we want to create effective structures. Finance function partnering with sustainable business teams requires effective departmental structures, roles, and responsibilities. Companies want to answer the questions, how are people rewarded in the company? Companies say that they want innovation, but often what happens is that employees are bringing innovation, they're bringing new ideas to the table, and the eyebrows are being raised. So you really have to evaluate, are the employees getting enough support in the team, or they're getting obstacles? The second subcomponent is planning for capabilities that matter. So CFOs need to consider the evolving needs of their businesses and build finance functions with the right capabilities. And they need to ask themselves, are we building a department that is future ready? Are we adding different people with different capabilities? Or they're the same in our team? And the third subcomponent or pragmatic action is changing the finance mindset. So finally, it goes all to the mindset, and you really need to evaluate, or the mindset is long-term thinking or is quarter to quarter. The CFO and the finance leaders should encourage professional development and cross-functional outreach for goal setting and other incentives. CFO and his team should serve as an active business partner. So to conclude, key global trend of the 21st century is the call for business to operate sustainably. By applying the partnership framework developed by IMA and ACCA, CFOs and other members of senior management can facilitate effective partnering between the finance function and the sustainable business function by focusing on three components: mandate, information, and talent. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching my presentation. And again, don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions about the presentation. And now I will stop sharing my screen and we can start moving to panel discussion. All right. I see already the chat is live. Some people are raising questions. So we will move to that a bit later after the panel discussion. So first of all, I would like to introduce our panelists. So today's panelists, as our panelists, we have 𝐟𝐢𝐧𝐚𝐧𝐼𝐻. He's a financial controller at Deutsche Telekom Services Europe, Romania. Gabriela Praia, she's a financial and office and facility manager. And Dragos Moisuk, he's a head of finance at SEC Services Romania. So now, as we discuss the finance function and sustainable business teams partnering, that is what I would say are mainly following steps. But first, we have to start somewhere, and sustainability is no exception. So I was wondering why you have decided to adopt sustainability measurements within your organization. And where did you begin? What were the first thoughts and actions? So maybe we can start with Dragos.
Yes, hello.
Hello, Dragos.
Yeah, so of course in the current let's say in the current times, it's very hard not to encourage sustainability within the business. Because we, as a company, as an entity, we must be seen and we must act not only as a consumer, but also we need to provide something else to the society. Yeah, otherwise we cannot evolve, and we cannot build something strong for the future. Just focusing on the immediate profits, let's say. Our company have a strong CSR department, and we are focusing on many actions. It's a little bit let's say hard for me to say when this project started, because it started a long time ago with different actions, both in Romania and in other countries in Europe. But if I'm going to discuss about our local, let's say, situation, I will say that due to our let's say line of industry, we are not so we don't have such a big impact on the natural environment, like, I don't know, other industries like transportation or manufacturing. Yeah, we are a company providing mostly IT services. But what we can affect and what we can, let's say, influence the most, it's the human resource and the local society. Even if we are talking about Iași, UK, Birmingham, or other city in the world. And we're starting to invest directly in our human resources, bringing innovations and improving their well-being and let's say personal satisfaction at the job, and also indirectly by encouraging a lot of activities outside the company and trainings, hoping that all the values shared by the company and all these, let's say, trainings which are not directly related with the work, and all the activities will trigger and will build something in the local society, and will send us message for the others to act like us, yeah? And to try to improve our society, let's say. Yeah. I can go and discuss a lot of actions, but most of them are common for all other participants, let's say, by public donations, helping schools, universities, internship programs with students from universities paid in full by us, and so on. But what I want to say is that over the time, what has been changed is the relationship between the CFO and the finance department, let's say, the CSR department and the CEO, I mean the top management. And this was triggered by the need to, let's say, corroborate everything in a single running machine, let's say. Yeah, it's quite difficult to, so when you do, let's say, little things, it's okay to act independently, like a CSR. But when you are doing great and big projects, it's quite important to have a strong collaboration with the finance department in order to evaluate the impact and to choose the right project. Yeah, because the right project, let's face it, the resources are limited. So all of us, we have a great bunch of ideas how to improve everything around us, but we need to limit our ideas to our capability of spending the available capital. Yeah, and in this moment, in this let's say, in this point, we brought together the finance department, the CSR, and the general management, the board of directors, working together in order to take the right decision. I'll give an example. For instance, in order to improve our employees' well-being and satisfaction at work, we decided to change our headquarters in IMA. So we moved 600 employees from one headquarters to another one. And the main reason was that from a pure financial point of view, it was, let's say, not cost effective if you are looking in the first instance. But if you take into account all other, let's say, intangible assets which are generated by this investment for our own employees and for the whole, for the local society in general, because you are saving power, you are saving water, you are saving traffic jams, like, for instance, in the local community, then we decided that it was a very good investment for us.
Thank you, Dragos. That actually brought me to another question about the finance integration with the sustainable business reporting. So afterwards, I'll ask about that again. So if you will want to add something, but now it's good to move to other panelists. So when talking about the actions in the very beginning, Dragos, you also mentioned that the company, your company is mainly IT services that doesn't have a production, so it doesn't have such a big environmental impact. But you know, it's really good to hear that there's a lot of innovation coming and there's a lot of support on professional development. And at IMA as well, we have really strong support on professional development, and it's not only encouraged, but it's also rewarded as an education company. So it's really good to hear that's also in other companies like that. So maybe it's good to move to Razvan, if you could also share your point of view.
Thank you, Greta. Yes, also in DTC Romania, we are a shared service company. So as Dragos mentions, we're providing services. So we don't have such a huge impact on the like other industry or factories. But yeah, we started to implement our sustainability measures in our company. We are somehow aligned and coordinated our group with our group parent company with all these measures and action which we do in Romania. Of course, we have some activities which are customized special for Romania, for the national landscape, and some of them which are international and are similar for all international locations which are part of our group. Yeah. Of course, there are some common measures which are, let's say, related to all activities, like water consumptions. We have quite nice and nice, easy stickers placed in all our public office spaces to acknowledge our employees how to do and how to not, let's say, waste water when they're using it. We have some special places for selective collection in our company for batteries, for paper, for plastic. Of course, we go also for the energy consumptions and to, let's say, pay more attention on the light in the office or in the common space. Which is actually are very direct in it is in our hands, and let's say upfront costs are not quite high, not high at all to following all these measures. As Dragos said, also we have some other corporate social responsibilities in the market. And we try to cover all our aspects, all other aspects, from planting the trees to, again, to have some, let's say, grants to university to have these employees from the university and grant these employees to the university on some funds. And yes, these are the mainly activities which are directly in our hands to use it for sustainable measures in DTC Romania. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. It's really good to hear. And Gabriela, maybe you can share also your point of view or your experiences.
Yes, of course. I think it's a general preoccupation for all companies in Romania to offer sustainability in the business part. It's our preoccupation to have a good environment for everybody, because of course the environment is not only for us, it's for the future generation. We have in general preoccupation, and we try to respond and to involve our employees to planting tree, to see what is happening with the internal environment, with the lights, with the water, and this is the idea, because here I have the chance to coordinate the finance and administration facility part in Majorel, and these departments are very, very close, because admin part and facility part has an impact in financial, and financial, of course, has an impact in an admin and facility part. But also is very important to translate everything to each employee if it's possible, and to have a good communication with all departments, with all employees, to translate the financial part, and to try to involve everybody in this sustainable to improve and to apply these measures, because it's very important to do step by step these improvements to have a big impact in the company and to have a big impact in the society. That's why Yes, COVID-19 and this period of time is difficult for everybody, but it's important to be close and to be part of the management and to be part of to be friends with all employees and to have a good collaboration with top management in the company and with other departments, because the human resources, the employees are a big resource in our company, like in everybody, and it's important to maintain the collaboration and to give the power for each employee that are part of the environment in the company and outside the company.
All right. All right, good to hear. It's actually very interesting how the companies have all these incentives for sustainability, and you all had to start somewhere. And you mentioned what evolved. You know, maybe you start partnering with finance teams more, maybe start planting trees, etc. So there was some evolution within your companies from scratch. By not doing anything in sustainability afterwards, implementing all these incentives, and I'm wondering how this evolution actually benefit or impacted your organization, and particularly impacted accounting and finance. So maybe Gabriela, you could share your point of view.
Yes, was impressive for us.
Yeah.
To apply this kind of measures, because we created a partnership with other suppliers who are specialized in this type of services. It's absolutely important to see what is happening with the paper, and to demonstrate, because of course Romanian legislation has a continuous evolution. And we try, like part of Union European state, to adapt our legislation and to be part of this legislation. It's very important to keep our environment clean, and to see what is happening with the paper or with other garbages, to select every garbage. We maintain the permanent contact with our suppliers, and we improve our procedures for each employee to keep in mind and to apply this procedure, because it's very easy for us to following what is happening. Yes, we following this part, we had an impact in financial part, and was very nice to see how positive impact we had here, because we can following exactly the evolution of these measures, and it's important to maintain and to improve this procedure year by year, and to have conclusion and to communicate this conclusion to our employees, of course, after the top management and middle management take a decision.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Gabriela. How this evolution impacted your organization as well? Maybe you can share that.
Thank you, Grete. Yeah, as you can see, applying the sustainability measures is no longer only let's say a feature, a bonus feature for the companies. It's somehow imperative to implement. And we, on our social media, like Facebook, like LinkedIn, or Insta, we always put all our measures of what we are going to implement in our companies. And let's say the most direct benefits is that is coming from our employee and a new hirings employees, which are very well perceiving this kind of activities, and they are let's say they are proud to work in an environment created by us, involving these all activities. So let's say the main advantage I see in the employees, in our incumbent employees, and also the newcomers, new joiners. And also with our partners and commercial partners which are working with, because it's, as I said, it's very important to march on this direction, and it's definitely for our activities. Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I just wanted to double check. You mentioned that it has a big impact on your employees. How do you mean that?
It means that the employees, they are proud that they are working in the company which is involved in this kind of activities, and yeah, and they are shared to others, and the image, and it is clear that it's an improvement in our image, and yeah, it's strengthened our position in the market. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right, thank you so much for clarifying. Yes, indeed, I totally agree with you, and especially I think millennials, they really want to work for companies who have purpose, not only to get a higher salary or things like that. So
yes, it's a mix.
Thank you so much. Dragos, maybe you can share.
Yeah, so for the company, you know, a company which is investing in people, and who is investing in people, and who is investing in general in the society, yeah, let's say, and natural environment and so on, will send a strong message into major directions. One is for the let's say possible future employees, and the second one is for the existing and possible new customers. For the, let's say, potential new employees, it says that, okay, this is a company which it's not only interested in immediate profits, yeah, here, but also want to build something which will last, yeah, for a while, and it's somehow involved in the, let's say, growing and developing the local society. And what we've seen decrease in the turnover of the personnel, which of course will trigger some financial benefits, like lower recruitment costs, lower training costs, and the most important is the let's say increased satisfaction from our clients, because you know, if you have a team of 10 and you permanently have 2 employees which are permanently shifting, yeah, 2 are leaving, 2 are coming, 2 are leaving, 2 are coming, then the service is not so stable, yeah. And of course, like I said, it's a strong message also for our customers, and I believe that this will, in one hand, will let's say consolidate our existing customers in this SARS COVID period, and will help us gaining new customers. From financial point of view, we had to change a little bit our reporting and our way of doing the business cases, because we cannot stick only to, let's say, profitability, cash flows, and so on. You have to bring in discussion some additional, let's say, intangible benefits, intangible from financial point of view. I mean, yeah. So, like additional capital, image of the company in the local society, in the world, and so on. So we had to work a little bit to our reporting and to our way of structuring and presenting the business cases.
All right. Yes, thank you, Dragos. Actually, I think it was very interesting, especially to hear about the fact that, you know, when you lower the turnover of employees, that also impacts the financial state of the company. So that brings me actually to the next question. That, you know, I also hear from other companies that integrating sustainable measurements have significant monetary benefits. So they're really trying to monetize the sustainability aspect. So I assume so that you agree with this statement, and maybe you can also share what else did you start it actually monetizing everything, every sustainability aspect to make people understand better, or was it just with the turnover?
The most, let's say, the most easily it's with the turnover. All other things like the customers and so on, it's a little bit difficult because it's not only the effect of the result of the let's say decreased turnover of the image in the public society, but it's also related with the quality of the services we are delivering, with the economical environment, social environment, and so on. So it's a mixture of this. I think so. While let's say, from my point of view, if we are talking about a public listed company, it's somehow more easily because if you are doing something like, I don't know, investing in natural environment and human resources and so on, maybe you can see more more easily the additional growth in the price of the shares. Yeah, I don't know, something like me, if I value very much, I don't know, involvement and planting new trees. Maybe this will trigger me to buy stocks at Amazon or any other companies, and you'll see that on the market. Yeah. While for the private companies, it's a little bit more difficult because you need to evaluate everything locally and within your organization, and the signals are mixed. Let's say, yeah, there are some things which are directly related with those measures. But there are some other things which are not in a, they are in a strong relation, but not in a directly linked, in order to say that, okay, I have additional, I have an increase in turnover by, I don't know, €1 million because we implemented those and those sustainability measures. So it's a mixture, I would say, to be fair.
Yeah, but I think it's also, I totally agree with that. I think it's also great you have a financial aspect of it to convince people better, because it's also easier for them to understand it, but also the creating value. Yeah, so maybe we can move to Gabriela, and maybe you can also share your point of view about basically about monitoring the sustainability indicators.
Yes, it's nice to have these indicators. It's a new part of our business, and we try to monitorize and to see what impact we have to following these indicators, because it's absolutely important to understand for a short period or a medium period to see what is happening and what measures we can have in the future in this part, because the changes are, we live in, we have difficult times right now, and it's very important to be flexible and adaptable. And I think these measures prepare us to keep a good environment for us in future, and for the society, and to have the possibility to develop our society, to keep in mind the positive impact, and to take measure in time for negative effects. Yes, maybe it's not like Dragos said, is not, we don't have a very big impact in this moment, but it's important to keep in mind this kind of measure, this type of indicators, to following them and to take measure in time.
All right. Thank you so much, Gabriela. Rizwan, maybe you can share also your...
in my eyes, we can quantify, let's say, on short term, these kind of measures. If you're talking about water consumption or energy reductions, or yeah, which are, let's say, more related to the cost. You can see on real time, or at least in short time periods, that the positive effects from cost perspective, from cost reduction perspective of this kind of measures. Of course, as Drago said, we have also the effect on employees and the general effect on the attrition rate, on the turnover. And on medium and long term, it is clear that your brand reputation is increased, or it's improved on the market, and the revenue streams can be extended if these activities and these measures will continue. So yeah, we can, at least from the very direct one, we can quantify short-term cost reduction on these kind of measures.
Mm-hmm. All right, and does it bring a value to?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
All right, great to hear. All right, thank you all for your answers. So I think, yeah, it's really good to hear all the incentives your companies are doing. And now I actually would really like to discuss the involving finance and sustainable business teams in this process, or making them work together. Just recently, I was actually listening to the podcast, and you know, one of the biggest challenges that they mentioned was to get finance on board in company sustainability journey. And they also said that the three main aspects that made really big difference in integrating sustainability with finance was, first of all, getting finance involved from the very beginning if possible, getting CFO speaking and engaging with other CFOs, sharing best practices, and giving CFO responsibility and the same things. So that was their point of view. I actually thought that it was very interesting. So I wanted to hear your opinions. Do you agree with the aspects, or what was it like in your journey, in your company's journey, getting finance team involved with sustainability business? So maybe Razvan, you can start.
Yes, from reporting perspective, I think starting from last year, we implemented a module in SAP in a reporting package, in a consolidated reporting package, a new kind of report, environmental, social, and governance report, ESG, where we can monitorize from all the international location, also in Romania, the main indicators in terms of water consumption, energy consumptions, which can be easily translated into figures and into cost. So this is one of our steps. And the second step is clear that